I am going to get started.
Welcome, everyone. Hey, how's it going? Whew. So we are back to, yay, stars. Excited for the tutorial. I'm glad somebody is. I hope other viewers are watching and are equally excited because I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good time. I actually am going to switch from the... No, I need to kind of keep it in the creator dashboard so I can change things for the next stream that I'm doing following this one. Immediately following this, I'll be switching over to the standard normal music stream of the day if you happen to check the schedule. So it's actually not the standard normal music stream of the day because I'm going to be playing bass instead of guitar and singing. So little change up, something fun. I've been hoping to get the bass out for a bit, and there she is, right yonder, hiding behind me this whole time. You had no idea. But this is mostly for, you know, for posterity's sake. Posterity's sake? Yeah, let's say that. Musical Poet, what's up? Thanks for joining the stream today to learn a little something about OBS, something about audio production. If you were here for last week's Sunday stream where I did like a big whole audio production thing, this is going to be similar, but I'm not going to use Pro Tools as a way to demonstrate and explain. I'm going to do everything in OBS. So it's all streamer focused. I'm going to talk about some audio things in OBS as well, some tips and tricks with that. So without much further ado, Darth, what's up? You'll be lurking. Cool. Glad to have you here for this one. Hang around. If you see the stream stops, it's going to start up again because I will be doing this and immediately following be switching to the Sunday music stream. So hang around. Hang around. Okay. Diving in. We're going to switch over to this other view here. Wow. Ooh, magic. Gonna adjust the camera so it looks a little bit better. And we're gonna start diving into some audio things. And you may have to full screen to see some of the specifics. I can only make like this window and the windows that I'll be opening so big. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to have this so it's not like double me or triple me on the screen. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, no, maybe I will. So you can see myself. No, we'll go back to this. We'll go back to this, or just a blank screen. That'll be nice. Okay. A little less distracting. Music Poet, looking forward to it. I'm trying to learn about OBS. It's more complicated to me than Twitch Studio. Okay, interesting. I don't have any experience with Twitch Studio, but hopefully some of this stuff will either help make that make some sense. I don't know what Twitch uses. OBS is great for a lot of things. It's a little weird getting used to and getting started in. I definitely had to look up a number of YouTube videos on how to get the video and the stream working really well. Those were like some pretty critical things. And I think a lot of people, there are a lot of resources on doing that. Anything involving video is, in my experience, I've found is just very, very heavily visually based, which makes sense because it's a visual medium. But audio always gets looked over or passed along. And no matter how much you ever hear anybody say how important audio is, it's always the last thing on people's mind in a visual medium. It's just the way that it is, the way it's always been. But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm going to help out, teach a little bit about making the audio sound really good. It overwhelmed me a little. I appreciate you taking time to do this. Well, I am so happy to do this. I'm really happy to kind of share some of my expertise on audio production and what makes things sound good, or at least a little bit better, and to share that with y'all today. So let's dive on in. Star mixed things up a little bit for me when I was deciding how to set up and how to get going, because she wanted me to do a little bit more OBS talks. So I'm very happy to do that. And what we're going to start with then with that is, especially because Musical Poet, you're getting used to OBS and what that looks like. So we'll jump into settings. I didn't mix it up. Okay. Clicking on settings, brings this up naturally, the settings window. And into the audio tab, some things you're going to want to focus on are these global audio devices and your monitoring device, because that can change based on how you're hooking things up and how you're moving audio through your system. So, for instance, I have an external audio interface connected so I can power my microphone, plug in my guitar, well, my bass now, have another microphone for my guitar amp, that sort of thing. So that's what you're seeing here with this Audient Evo. That's my audio interface. But something that's very critical for streaming with music playing and that sort of thing is a virtual, they call them virtual cables. And this VB audio virtual cable is a great, unobtrusive, and it doesn't really require any setup other than the install to give you a way to route audio from one place on your computer to another place. So if we look down in, I guess you maybe can't see it on stream because of my little overlay here, but in the bottom right corner of Windows, you've got your little volume audio setting thing. When you click on the speaker and you select this virtual audio cable, what that's doing is it's saying, hey, I'm not going to route audio through your speakers or your headphone jack or anything like that. I'm routing it through this virtual cable, this sort of cable that's internally routing through your computer. And then if you see here on desktop 2, I have that set up to be the virtual audio cable. So we're sending audio from the desktop, so from applications, games, so Spotify, a game you're playing, video on a live stream, that sort of thing, or in a like a web browser, whatever would normally come out of your speakers. It's sending it through that, and you're establishing an input in OBS to pick up that signal. You get a couple of desktop audios that will work for that. I don't even think, you do get that as a mic input, but for desktop audio, that it works best to put it there because that's your desktop audio. Now you can route just stuff coming out of the speakers to here as well if you're going to be listening to it out of your speakers. But if you're not, or a headphone output, if you're using a headphone output, that's sometimes what I use. Where do they have that in here? That's my monitor. These are the speakers. Interesting. They would normally call that like the headphone, like second output or whatever. Can you make it a little bigger, the settings window? I can't make it zoomed in anymore, unfortunately. And for that, I apologize. I recommend full screening this stream. And I will be putting it up on YouTube. This one I for sure will be putting up on YouTube so that people can go back and reference and then watch, full screen, full definition, all that kind of thing. So we're taking audio out of our desktop through this virtual audio cable. And the one that I'm using is called VB Audio Virtual Cable. And setting that as an input here I'm using desktop audio too. Sometimes I'll use like default for the first one. It just gives you options. And then that way, I don't want to keep anything I've changed. So I'm going to say cancel. It's going to give you one of these meters here. Now I've renamed them all so that I can kind of quickly reference them. And because OBS is it's open broadcasting software, it's an open source software. It's not something you're paying for. It doesn't have quite the technical support as a, that paid for software. It has some bugs. It has some little weirdnesses. So that's why you see all they have capture card audio, HDMI capture card for when I use the capture card with the PlayStation 5 connected for one of my sim racing streams. That's all this extra stuff. But this BG music right here, that's desktop audio too. I've just renamed it under this little 3 dots, renamed what that is. And you can hide inputs as well. Just if you need to, like, yeah, this capture, this isn't it. That's not the right thing. And sometimes I set up different channels or different inputs for, like, for the background music, that's for the virtual audio cable. So I have a dedicated channel for that, and I've renamed it the level it needs to be for the stream. Same with the gaming audio. That one I think actually is the default output for that, which is why that's a different input, or different output, I should say, and a different level for different, balances there. So that's some routing stuff. You can see my mic here, have the name Vox, which is short for vocals. Definitely rewatching. And then another very important thing, once you've actually, we'll go back to the audio page of settings, and you're going to set up that's where you set up your different microphones. So for the first mic, I've got the first input of my audio interface. So that's this microphone here. The second microphone, or second, mic, they really should just call it inputs, but I get why they have it separated out like this. My second mic is the second input of my audio interface. So that's for guitar normally on Sundays, or for bass, which we're doing today. Third, it's disabled, and I believe that has to do with the capture card. This is normally the capture card, but I won't change it, because if I do change it, if I change it to disabled or something, it can disappear from this bottom section here. And then if you have any filters or any settings set with this, that will go too. And you don't want to necessarily you don't want to get rid of stuff if you want to kind of keep it from one stream to the next stream, especially if you're doing a variety of stuff. Redeemed posture check. Thank you, Cross-Driven Racing. Yes. Oh. Okay. Need to do that. I kind of noticed I was leaning over, so thank you. And with that, I'm gonna bump up the microphone a little bit. Change this up. Okay. Much better. Thank you, Cross-Driven. All right, moving along. So we've established where our microphones are. Now this bit here, this advanced audio monitoring device, that's where ultimately the sound that's where you want to be monitoring all of these different inputs here, is going to be through this established monitoring device. Now, normally that'll be in default if you're using headphones, that sort of thing. But again, I'm using an audio interface, so I have a separate device, and no matter what, I want to be hearing things coming out of that. Everything passing through OBS, I'm going to hear coming back out of my audio interface. So that's what that is set for. And after you've made all your changes, you'll click apply. I haven't made any changes. That'll set it all there. Now, something that I've noticed, I don't know if it's just with my particular machine or something you might run into, is say you go into settings and audio and you change some devices, but you're not seeing any signal metering where you have your inputs or whatever set. You're like, wait a minute, I know I did this right. And you go, you double check, you triple check, and it still isn't working right. For me, whenever I make changes to an audio input, especially the monitoring device, whatever, I always have to restart OBS for those changes to like actually stick. Again, it's open broadcasting software. It's an open source platform. There are going to be some bugs, some little weirdnesses to work with. And that's one that I've noticed come up again, at least on the laptop that Star Freckles and I share. So something to keep in mind, you may have to restart OBS to really get things to stick. And now, let's see if we have any questions. Thunder and lightning. Yes, allegedly we do have a storm coming in, rolling around. So fingers crossed it all holds. Oh yeah, I'm looking through there. It's getting kind of dark. Yowzers. Okay, brother. We did randomly lose power. What was it, this morning, Star? Maybe yesterday morning? Just beautiful sunny day and gone. I don't know. Like a blip. We had a blip. And long enough so that we had to reset the time on our oven and microwave, that kind of thing. Yesterday morning. That's what I thought. Okay. So going into some more nitty-gritty, deep level stuff. You've got your inputs set up. You've got your desktop audio routed to a specific area or input. You've got your microphone set. This one here, this Get Started, is part of my, I think I have it in music and gaming stream, so we'll just double it up on both sides. I have set as a source an audio file on my computer to play whenever I transition over. And thankfully, it provides you a little input or a meter, some level to balance on the audio mixer, so you can set if it's too loud, too quiet, that sort of thing. And you'll notice it's grayed out. That is because I have locked the volume, because I know I want this to replay at the same level every time. And if you have a file, something you want to trigger every time you switch scenes, something like that, you just go add a source and a media source, and then you find it and you set it up. Don't want it to loop. Maybe you want it to loop. I didn't want this one to loop, but restart playback when the source comes active every time. You can set speed, which is kind of fun. Hardware decoding if you need. It's just a short audio file. No big deal there. And show nothing when playback ends. Definitely. I don't really want to close the file when active, so I'm just keeping all that there. But that's how you have that trigger. Mossy Mama, what's up? Welcome to the stream. We're learning about OBS audio production today, going through some of the ins and outs, some of the deeper level stuff, not just quite the tip of the iceberg with how to get your audio sounding really good in OBS. So glad you're here. And then another thing that we have set up, that Star and I have set up are Twitch alerts. And this is something you can add through your settings of your profile on Twitch. So I imagine people here are streamers, so that's why they're learning this stuff. In Twitch, in your channel settings, there's a tab on the left for Twitch alerts. So this is stuff that you can set up, like whenever you see something pop up for a new follow or a new subscriber, that sort of thing. That's what this is. And the way you get those plugged into OBS is you see kind of like a little planet symbol here if you're zoomed in. But what you want to add is a browser source. And when you add such browser source, you'll get this. Your Twitch page will give you, that tab in Twitch will give you a URL to copy and paste into this properties window. You match the width and the height that is set in the Twitch alerts page. They'll tell you, so you match that there. And actually, I probably should have audio control via OBS. That's what I need to add. That's probably going to add it back in here, which is something I haven't done. Now, in the Twitch alerts page or tab, whenever you add an alert or activate one, it has like a volume percentage for its playback. Sometimes it can be a little too quiet. I think for mine, it was a little quiet. So clicking this, we're going to find out, we're going to learn together. see if this adds it to the volume mixer. And don't worry about anything else. This is all going to auto-populate with the stuff that you need. Click OK. And there it is. Twitch alerts. Excellent. I needed this. Wonderful. This is good. Don't know why I didn't do this before. Oh well. But now, you know what? I didn't do it before, so I could do it with you guys on stream. Awesome. Nashi, what's up? Rainbows, thanks for being here. Are you still stateside on your work trip? That would be cool. Hello, the people. Hello, the Nashi. Okay. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. First off, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test this, my Twitch alerts, to make sure that, let's see here, they're coming through here, and so that I kind of set their levels, because they've been quiet. Star has said they've been quiet, so we're going to adjust them together. So you go to edit, you go to the alerts tab, edit alerts, and I'm just going to go with one for the new follower, because I think everything I have is, scaled to volume to 100. They should mostly be about the same volume level, but there's a way you can preview the alert or send a test alert. So I'm going to send a test alert here.
What's crack-a-lackin', yo? I'm down. Who else is in?
And there it is. We see it pop up. I saw it here. Did y'all hear it? I didn't hear it. And I wonder if it's because I didn't set that to be heard. So down here, these little gears, heard and saw it. Awesome. These little gears here, actually I know why. It's a very important area of audio setting. And that is because of this, the sync offset and the audio monitoring. Don't worry about the tracks. For the purpose of this video, don't worry about the tracks. You can see all these inputs. I've got the volume you can see here. You can also set it to be percentages if you'd like. I like to have the decibel rating because I'm audio minded like that, I guess. But in the sync offset, you'll see that I have the background music. This is the music that I play along to in OBS or on stream. I have that at a 10 millisecond offset, and that is to slightly adjust the timing of the music with the input signal of my microphone and my guitar or bass, because the way that I'm monitoring back is slightly different than how you're hearing it, and that's because of the audio interface. My audio interface has something called direct monitoring that I can balance with the actual output of the interface, and that's so I can hear these inputs from the microphone, the guitar, or bass instantly. So I'm playing and singing in time with myself, and this sync offset balances the music I'm playing along to so that what I'm hearing, basically what I'm playing and singing, and the music that I'm playing and singing along to are time lined up. It's not a this way, I guess it's a this way, x-axis. So that's what sync offset is. If you remember, if you were here for the last tutorial stream, I was streaming on my Mac laptop, which is a great laptop, but not meant for streaming. And the delay was so bad between the camera and my microphone that we had to put like a full second delay just to get it like close. It was terrible. But you may or may not use sync offset. That's what that's for. Audio monitoring is the big one. You can see you've got a couple different options chosen throughout this, and mostly monitor and output or monitor off. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to Twitch alerts and set that to monitor and output. That's one burp for the stream. This is the part that Star wanted me to show y'all. So monitor and output. When it's of all these options, I think this is Logitech StreamCam. Yeah, this is hidden. So even if you have something hidden in the audio mixer, it will show up in the advanced audio properties section. So when you have something set to monitor and output, that means monitor means you're going to hear it through your monitoring device that we set up earlier, how you hear everything going through OBS. That's what monitor is. And then output means that it's being output to the stream. So if, not if, but when this alert was added to the audio mixer, it was set to monitor off. Output is still on. So that's why y'all heard it, but because the monitor was off, that's why I couldn't hear it. But I want to hear it, so I'm going to set it to monitor and output. That way, when I go to the alerts page and I send a test alert.
What's crack-a-lackin', yo? I'm down. Who else is in?
I heard that too. And I'm going to see, okay, it hit up here. I'm actually going to give that a bit of a gain boost through an audio filter, which we're about to get into. That's what I'm really most excited about. So that's monitor and output. Monitor off means, again, it's outputting to the stream, but you don't hear it. Normally, when I do my music stream, you can see the amp input that's set to monitor off. Again, that's because I have that direct monitoring feature on my audio interface. That's how I'm monitoring the amp and when I sing. So that's why it's set to monitor off. And normally the Vox or vocals channel, I have that set to monitor off as well, because again, I'm direct monitoring those. But I want to be able to hear it today because I want to hear changes that I'm going to be making for this stream as I'm doing it. So the weird thing is I'm actually kind of hearing myself in my head and then hearing the monitor from the microphone a couple milliseconds after I speak. It's a weird sort of doubling thing, but through I persevere. I get it out of it doesn't bother me. I'm ignoring it. So that's why mostly like for any kind of microphone that you're going to set up, you'll probably set it to be monitor off. It's nice to do monitor and output for when you're making changes like we're about to see with dialing in sort of the EQ, the tone, compression, those sort of things. But then once that's all set and you're comfortable, turn it to monitor off, and then you won't have to worry about it. So that's what this is. It's very important. If you're not hearing something, you've rebooted OBS, go into this advanced audio properties. It's the little gear down here at the bottom of the audio mixer, and check to see that you have monitor and output set. Same thing if you don't want to hear yourself, but you want it to, or hear something, but you want it to go to stream, set it to monitor off. There is a monitor only mute output option as well. So you can hear it, but stream can't. Those are your three options. Bingo, bango. Close. And any changes you have to make in here, you should not have to reboot OBS for that. For any of those changes, you shouldn't have to worry about rebooting OBS for that. Okay. Always a smile. Hey, thanks for joining in on this OBS tutorial. Nice. Okay, so you can see that I'm metering here. First thing we're going to do, real simple stuff. We're going to go to Twitch Alerts in the audio mixer, and these three dots here. Click that. That's where you get your option to lock volume. You can hide it, rename it. I think by default, Twitch has vertical layout turned off, and it's this horizontal layout. I don't like it because you can't see as much. You get more fidelity with the metering, which is kind of cool, but I prefer to have the vertical layout so I can see more channels at a time. Okay. So back in here, there's properties. Oh yeah, that's because that's where all the stream info is coming from. If you need to quickly mute your microphone or a source, you can just click this little speaker right here, and that mutes it. That is a monitor mute. I was testing that. And an output mute. So you won't be able to hear it, and stream won't be able to hear it. Back to the dots. We're going to go to, I believe, advanced audio properties. Yep, we'll bring this window back up. But what we're focused here on is filters. Filters. Wow. I need to really balance out something here. Ignore this. We are getting to it later. Filter, filter, filter. Oh, you know what? I bet that's through the noise suppressor, but that's fine. That's okay. Let me adjust the mic a little bit. All right. Bump the gain up a little bit, a little more sensitive. Because it's cutting off the start of some of my words, like filter. Oh, that's the noise suppressor's doing that too. Filter. Weird. Weird. Let's turn that. No, I don't want to turn that off. Okay. Back to what we're focusing on what we want to focus on. So when you choose filters for an audio input, you have audio filters and effect filters. Oh, that's because this is seeing this as a source. It also technically kind of counts this as a video. Normally for these input channels, you won't see a video and an effect, or an audio and an effect filter. Effect filters are really for video, that sort of thing. Audio, that's what you want to see. Now, OBS wonderfully comes with a number of built-in or included audio effects, or plugins as they're known. So we're going to use one of those for, actually, just two. Why not? Two for our Twitch alerts. The first one is going to be gain. And you can name it. I'm going to call it gain. And all this is going to do is boost or reduce the overall level or volume. It kind of acts like this sort of volume slider here. But if you're at 0 dB, if you're at the max 100% and you need a little more, that's where the gain comes in, because this will let you boost the gain, the input level of whatever you're sending it, up to quite a lot. 30 is an insanely high amount. Ours are already, my alerts are pretty good. I'm going to start it at 4.5. And to kind of give myself a little bit of a guardrail, a little safety here, I'm going to add another audio filter. That's their limiter. What this is going to do, as you may expect, is it's going to straight limit the level of signal based on where it's showing up on the meter, wherever you set this threshold. That's going to be the limit. And the reason why you would set this, if you don't want something to go above the limit, namely above 0 dB here, that's where you reach something called clipping. It distorts the signal. It sounds very, very bad. So limiters help prevent that from happening. Normally, -1 dB, that's where you want your cap to be. But I like to set mine at 1.5. It's just a little extra. And due to really deep level, weird audio, digital audio craziness, no matter what you set some limiters to, you can still get signal to go above it because of how computers decode, encode, process audio signals digitally. Don't worry about why. That little extra 0.5 dB helps balance that. So that's why I do 1.5. The release time, that's how much it's kind of letting go of, preventing that limit. Leave it at 60. You're good. So let's jump back to gain. Now that we have our limit safety set, we're going to test this alert again and see how much louder it is right here. Here we go.
What's crack-a-lackin', yo? I'm down. Who else is in?
That's pretty good. Now without the gain set, if I turn that off.
What's crack-a-lackin', yo? I'm down. Who else is in?
It's only getting up maybe around there. Turn it back on. I'm actually going to boost it to 6.
What's crack-a-lackin', yo? I'm down. Who else is in?
Much better. Nice and loud. Cool. Excelente. Okay, moving on to our vocal channel. And this is where things are going to get a little more in depth, a little more interesting. Just going to set some stuff up with my web browser here. Beautiful. You can see all my windows up now. Oh, wait, that compressor window's still open? Weird. Super weird. Oh, the de-esser. Oh, okay. Check 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. We'll get to de-essing in a moment. That noise suppressor is really working overtime. Really working overtime for this one. Okay. So like we did for the Twitch alerts, we're going to click the 3 dots, go to filters, and you can see I've got a few audio filters, effects, plugins, as you will, already set up. And I'm actually going to turn off the noise suppressor, so you can immediately hear background noise. But words like filter and processor, plugin, all these consonant sounds that I'm making are actually coming through. This is weird. I would not have expected that out of this version of the noise suppressor. I bet if I back off just a little bit, I can say filter and processor. Yeah, see, it's catching it there. Processor and that sort of thing. So let's see if I can kind of work my way around it. I'm going to talk over my microphone. And that way, processor and filter, that's going to make it through. Cool. See, this is why it's good to have that monitoring and output settings. So you can hear some of the stuff that is happening to your microphone input, to your voice as you're working on it. The next thing we've got here, you can see is called Melda EQ. Now, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're thinking. You're thinking tree. There's already an EQ that OBS gives us. 3 whole bands worth. Look at them. A high, a mid, and a low. I say no. No. I don't like that for a couple of reasons. One, it's nice to have a high, mid, low, but to me it doesn't say where the high, mid, and low are. It's just too vague, right? It's too vague. So, what we gonna do is, instead of clicking on any of these, we're going to down to this VST2.x plugin. Now, you may not have that in your OBS settings. And the reason I do is because I went to this website right here. I discovered Melda production effects years ago at my previous job. I was looking for a metering plugin, something that gave me information about loudness, that sort of thing for audio to video work that I was doing. And also, know what you're thinking? I don't want to spend a lot of money on stuff. You know, budgets are tight all around, all that sort of thing. Something I mentioned a lot in my last stream doing audio production. I'm going to mention now, this is free. What I'm about to show you here is totally free, so you don't have to worry about paying money for it. You go to meldaproduction.com. If this makes it up on YouTube, I'll put a link in the description. I'll provide a link in our Discord. Star, if you want to shout our Discord in the chat. But meldaproduction.com, go to bundles, and at the bottom, this free effects bundle. Click on that. You got your free download. There's no signups, no logins, nothing. At least I don't think there is. I don't remember having to do it. But the big thing you're getting this for is a couple of things. Even the M compressor, the M equalizer, and I think those are the ones that I used. You get a bunch of really cool stuff, but the compressor and the equalizer are the ones you really want, that we're going to really be focusing on. And I mean, M analyzer, that's how I discovered this whole thing. But it's free. It says buy now. Don't worry about it. you do the free. It is free, I promise. But you grab that, download it, reboot OBS, and then you'll have that option for VST 2.x plugin when you go to add one. So when you do that, man, burp again. You get a drop down. It'll say, please select plugin. So you're going to drop down with all this cool, crazy new stuff that you got. Go down and select Equalizer right there. Boom. I already have that selected. So this is the first thing that you want to add after noise suppression. Noise suppression, that's the number one. First thing you do whenever you want to clean up a source is work on dealing with the noise, any kind of noise that you have from that input. So noise suppression, I use the RN noise, good quality, more CPU usage. I don't really find that it actually uses more CPU usage. So it's much higher quality than the Speaks version, which this way has this suppression level, and I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. This is RN noise is set it and forget it. Big fan of that. Stand by Discord link. My Discord is being silly. Thank you, Star. Thank you for posting the Discord. So we've suppressed our noise. We've cleaned our signal up. So like now when I don't talk, nice and quiet. Turn that off and I don't talk. You hear that noise coming through. That could be air conditioning noise, noise from the microphone, from the preamp, whatever. Now it's gone. Okay, EQ. Very excited about sharing this. When you open up, it's close or say close. Really? There. Open plugin interface. You get this cool, crazy thing. Turn off analyzer. It's gonna distract you. Visual stuff always distracts when working on audio. So you can see I've already done some changes and adjustment here with my EQ. And there are a number of really great, really informative videos on YouTube about things to do and things not to do when EQing your voice, be it for a video, for a podcast, for a live stream, whatever. Something that few to none really hit at, and this is something that is so important when it comes to using EQ. Subtractive EQ is always better than additive EQ. Subtractive EQ is always better and more effective than additive EQ. What does that mean? Subtractive EQ is what you're seeing right here. I'm pulling down. So if I click on this bands window here, you can see in the gain where I've made the adjustments, they're all negative. I'm pulling out bad stuff rather than trying to add things that I want to be there. Why is that better? Part of it has to do with the science of how EQ works and what it's doing behind the scenes to actually shift the tone and make these equalizer adjustments. But the net effect is always greater in EQ when you're removing things that you don't want as opposed to adding things that you're trying to get out of it. And it ends up being, it's way more effective. So step 1 and 2, they're kind of the same, that I do for EQ is I get rid of the extra lows and the extra highs. Now the human range of hearing is 20 hertz at the lowest in frequency and 20,000 hertz in the highest range of frequency. And really, I mean, teenagers and young people are probably getting close to that, like 18,000, but anything beyond, this is too low. Anything beyond like 16,000 is like nothing information when you're just trying to do dialogue, when you're just talking, that sort of thing. So I guess because I'm talking about the high end, I'll start with that. When you first open up this this MEQ window, it's going to look like this with the analyzer turned on, and this will be distracting. Turn it off. To start really working on all these, you want to double click where it says bands, this little bar here, and that will open up the options to turn on each of the bands. Now the number 1, number 6 are going to be different types of bands than what you see here. So you click on I'm going to go back to this again. When you click on this area here, the filter type, you get this little window here that lets you choose what kind of filter you want to be working with. It will start for number 1, we'll start with a low shelf, and number 6 will start with a high shelf. And it does what it kind of sounds like it does. It affects a shelf above or below where you're working, or with the frequency you set it at. It looks like a shelf, more or less. But what you want to change that to with band 1 is a high pass, and band 6 is a low pass. So 1 being a high pass, you only want frequencies above where you have it set to pass through. So higher frequencies get to pass. And for dialogue, spoken word, that sort of thing, the frequency you want to set it at is more or less 90. I don't know why it's 91, 96. You can either adjust through the knob here or click, and you have to click. It doesn't really enjoy typing for some reason. I think it has to do with OBS's keyboard shortcuts, whatever. So I just use the mouse. 90. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, if we set it up really high, you can hear how everything below is super filtered out. But at 90, it still sounds nice and warm, but we're getting rid of low frequency information that gets in the way. It's unnecessary, again, for dialogue, for spoken words, even for most singing. That's number 1. And we talked about getting rid of the extra high stuff. So again, because we want to filter out the high stuff, let the low stuff pass, set a low pass at the high end. And for that, it really needs to be, I don't know why I have it set there, 16,500 is where I like to set it. Plenty of high frequency information. There's still plenty of clarity in what I'm saying, but the really, really high stuff that just acts as interference for spoken word, for dialogue, for the human voice, we're getting rid of that. It's gone. Next, we're going to find areas of my voice that we want to clear up. So I'm setting these back all to 0. Check, check, hey, 1, 2. Not bad. It's a good microphone. Sounds good. I like it, but it could be better. So one of the ways I like to do this is I like to increase the level and start kind of finding where things sound bad. And then use that as a point to bring it down to get more clarity. So this is with it off, and this is with it on. A little more focus out of my voice. I don't really want to bring up here. I mean, you can add extra warmth and low-end tone, but it's not helping anybody for live stream and for clarity. So we're going to leave that there. And this sort of frequency right here, this 300s, 250 to 500, or even sometimes 600, that can be a muddiness range. Like if something sounds muddy, especially human voice, that's the frequency range they're talking about. And pulling that out helps focus, so you have some of that, like in low end body and warmth, but not any of the stuff that muddies up the sound. What people don't talk about a lot is what I call the honk range in human voice. It's also kind of nasally, and that exists between right around 1,000 to maybe 2,000. And you can see as I'm going up here, there's kind of that honk that's that nasally sound. So you pull that out. Actually, may want to get more somewhere around here. This is pretty good. And again, this is clearing up my voice. Sometimes when you get rid of this stuff, it overemphasizes the low end. So I'll go back to 2, drop that a little bit, and that helps restore some of the clarity, I feel. And then lastly, there's this bit up here. This is kind of, I mean, you can get up over here for air, for that just a little more top end clarity. I'm using the word clarity a lot. But this area, when you get above like 7,500, 8,000, is really mostly air. And so like that, it helps kind of give it that more natural, I don't know, we're in the same space, but there's a lot of clarity with it. I don't really think that this microphone needs much of that. But what it maybe could use is just a little taming in this area right here. This 2,000 to 5,000 is kind of a presence range. And this specific microphone I know has a bit of a boost just naturally in that area. Because it's a vocal mic or an acoustic guitar mic. But I like to kind of drop that down just a little bit. It can kind of help with noise as well. Some of that high static sound. And so I like to pull that down just a little bit to help get rid of some of that. And again, I'm going to go back to lowering some of this low end so that this area isn't overemphasized. And again, all of this has been focused on getting rid of things we don't want. There's something kind of known as the disco smile, whether it's in how you have speakers set up, or it's just a general EQ thing to where you have boosted lows, cut mids, and then boosted highs. And this was made popular during the disco era, so that's why it's called the disco smile. But you've got a boost here, and it's just a general smile shape. And a lot of videos will tell you to avoid this, which isn't bad. It's good advice. But if you notice, aside from the high pass and the low pass, what we've done is kind of cut out this. We've done almost a little bit of a smile here. But that's just naturally what ends up working. You want to get rid of, for dialogue, you want to get rid of this mid-range muddiness. And you want to, sometimes you like to focus that low-end warmth. Or, you really want to make it cut through, so you boost the high, so you're really cutting through. No. Just a little bit of cutback, just a little taming down there, I think really helps balance all this out. Y'all let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I know I probably talked about a lot with this. Okay. Next up, I got rid of the compressor. Why did I do that? So before I was using the built-in compressor from OBS, and it's not bad. So after you've done noise suppression, then you do EQ, then you do compression. The compressor is not bad. It's got a lot of options. If I were to do settings, this is about where I would do it for here. For OBS. And unfortunately, while this is pretty fully featured for what you want out of compressors, for somebody who's not experienced with compression, it ain't gonna make any sense. So we get rid of it. Bye-bye. What we're going to do is we're going to add another VST2. We're going to call this the Melda compressor. And we're going to scoot it to its rightful spot right after the EQ. And Rigby is very scared of this storm and is right under my desk. Hey, guy, you okay? Whew. It's thundering out there. Okay. Select a plugin, compressor, and we'll open the interface. Don't worry about this side area freaking out. Don't worry about it. But what we want to do, this is for dialogue, for spoken word. I like to set attack to 32. Just type it in. Boop, boop. Release to 320. It's nice and slow. So this is a kind of an easy attack and release setting, and I'll explain what those are in just a second. Actually, I'll explain it right now. So you can think of compression as like a rubber band on an audio signal. After a signal hits a certain point, which is what the threshold is, after a signal hits that, it's going to start sort of pulling back on your level, the level of your signal. And the rate at which it does that is the ratio. That's how strong the rubber band is. So nothing's happening. And as soon as it hits that threshold, it's going to start pushing, not pushing back, but you can think of almost as pulling back. Maybe pushing back is a good way to think of it. But it's nice here that you get to see this happen in real time in this M compressor. So this red line, that's where our threshold is. This black line here is our signal. And this line to this line, that is the curve of our compressor. And really, set that to 4:1. If you don't want to dive deep into compression and what all this stuff means, the quick takeaway from this is attack 32, release 320, and ratio 4:1. Then set your threshold to start interacting with this black line with your signal here, and get your reduction, which is this R, to be really anywhere less than -5. That's another burp. What's up, Catch? Good to see you here in chat. So as you can see, even at this level, when I get kind of louder, it starts bumping above -5, which is great, which is fine. But this is a pretty smooth amount of compression. This works for me. I like this. Now, the problem with reducing a whole lot like this is you're reducing your signal. You're taking something away. You need to be able to give it back. So you're getting yourself to anywhere between -5 and 0, bouncing around there, maybe coming up a little higher if you're getting a little louder. You need to give something back. That's what this output is here. Sometimes they call it gain compensation or something along those lines, but your output helps balance the amount that the compressor is pulling back on. And compression, another way of thinking about it, if you're looking at like a sound wave or whatever, it's boosting the highs and pulling back, or sorry, boosting the lows and pulling back the highs. It's making everything even. It's compressing the overall dynamic of the signal. And adjusting your output helps maintain that balance. That's boosting those lows while compensating for some of the high levels of signals that you're pulling back through the compressor. So that's how that works. Again, the quick notes: attack 32, release 320, ratio 4:1. Set your threshold to where it starts interacting with your signal. This R, this reduction meter, anywhere between 0 and -5, and you're good. And then maybe balance it out with that, plus 3 dB. Bingo, bango, you done good. Close that. So you can see maybe I'm a little quieter without it, and then a little louder with it on. But because it's compressing those louder signals, it all works out nice and evenly. Boom, Catch. Thank you for typing that up in chat. Keeping them notes. Now, after you do compression, the next step is going to be de-essing. And that is what it sounds like. The way I've done that, I have another VST 2.x plugin. And a lot of times companies will have de-essers that are dedicated plugins or software for removing that S sound sibilance, that sort of thing. But kind of cleverly or nicely enough, kindly enough, Melda has sort of baked that into a little bit into their compressor. So when you open up the compressor, you add another compressor here, name compressor, and open the plugin interface. This section right here gives you access to their presets. And in their presets, they have one labeled De-Essing. So you just click that. And you notice I just got a lot quieter. That's because their output is set to -13. So when you add it, set your output back to 0 to balance that out. And the way that it's doing this is it enables this side chain. So this is signal that it is picking up to compress upon. And once you turn on de-esser or the de-essing preset, set your output back to 0, then you want to set the side chain, the area of compression that it's affecting upon, to be in that sibilant range. And the sibilant range really starts kind of around 4,500. So that's the high pass. Remember, from EQ, high pass, that's your low point, because this is the high frequencies passing through. And the low pass, we'll just go back to that 16.5. And there. So when I'm talking, talk, just normal sounds, nothing big. There's compression. But if I say a lot of sibilant stuff, super sibilant sounds versus hi, my name is Tree. The noise suppressor is acting upon the sibilance as well. But you can see sibilance is hitting there pretty good versus just if I was making a moo, that's pretty loud. That's, enough that it should interact with this compressor.
What's crack-a-lackin', yo? I'm down. Who else is in?
Who just got the follow? Did I hit my goal? Yo, no way. Wow, that was so much louder. XXC Dream XX. Hello, thanks for the follow. Hitting the follow goal. Awesome. Welcome in. I'm Tree Once Cut Down. I do music stuff and I do sim racing on Thursdays. Sundays are music days. Thursdays are sim racing days. And normally I play guitar and sing along to late 90s, early 2000s pop punk and 90s pop rock songs, kind of teenaged angst music. But today, right now, I'm doing this OBS tutorial for how to make yourself sound really great. And right now we're talking about S's, de-essing, and sibilance. So yeah, you can see this compressor is only acting upon the more sibilant sounds, and it helps balance that out. I didn't even touch the threshold, any of that stuff. I just put the output back to 0. We don't have to worry about balancing back the output because, again, we want to reduce the sibilant sounds. Just set the high pass to 4,500 and the low pass to 16,500. Okay, that's de-essers. You can call me AJ or X. Oh, right on. Awesome, AJ. Well, thank you for jumping in and giving that follow. I appreciate it. Moving on down the line. These are kind of our core. Actually, they're all kind of our core plugins to be using. This is my standard signal chain, as it's referred to as signal chain. The steps in which you process a signal. I go in here this is just the OBS game to help me get a little more volume back depending on where my input is set. If I need more loudness after I've done all of this stuff, if I need to give more back into what you're hearing, I just throw the OBS's gain filter or plugin and then boost that up to where I need to be. You can see in your meter where you're at so you're not overloading it. I could probably even go up to 9. Let's do it. Here we are at 9. And then last but not least, the limiter, like we said before, -1.5 dB, just giving us that nice little safe room so we're not clipping. Don't touch the release. And there you go. All there is to it. how to get yourself sounding good. And really, honestly, when it comes to some of the more complicated stuff, I mean, we've got the quick sort of preset or parameters in your compressor and the de-esser. In the EQ, if I were to give you just a short and sweet version of that, I'm going to turn off this one. I'll add another one again just to show, and we're going to put that in line. So these up and down and arrows, whatever you select, can move the effect of the filter up and down in the list, which in order is important. As we mentioned before, noise suppression, EQ, compressor, de-esser, then gain to give anything back, and limit to prevent yourself from clipping. But if you want some quick and dirty stuff for your EQ, pull up the equalizer, open it. Remember to kill the analyzer so you're not distracting yourself. Double click bands. We'll start with the lowest and move, or start with the borders here and then work our way in the middle. So 1, filter. High pass. You want this 12 dB per octave. It's a steeper curve, but it's still very, very forgiving. Just select that and set your frequency to 90. Boom. Done. All your extra low sounds that you don't want. This also helps get rid of like AC, air conditioning rumble, things like that. They're gone. It's a great little utility frequency to set at. Then we'll start at our upper bound at 6. Same kind of deal to where we turn it on by clicking the number, click in the filter, set it for low pass, same slope, same 12 dB per octave. And then we're going to set that, and you can already hear it's kind of cutting off my high stuff, right? Yeah. We're going to set that 16,500. Boom. All the super high stuff that is noise for voice, gone. Then we'll jump over to 3. We'll turn that on, leave all this stuff as is, and then click in and just sort of pull out around 350. Just pull that out. And then 4, right around the 1000. We'll just drop that down just a little bit. And then with these, you can see these bars sticking out. Grab one inside, pull in to sharpen it. And we'll just drop down there just a little bit. Then 2. Same deal, because we want to get, that's number 3 and 4 have sort of overemphasized our low end. So we'll go back into number 2. We can grab that, this little adjuster here. It's called Q. This refers to the width of the band, and just pull that down just a little bit. Because what we end up here with is just sort of cutting off, or just reducing from golly, this noise suppressor, from 1000 down. We've just sort of kind of pulled that back a little bit. So we've gotten rid of the muddiness with 3, the nasally sounds with 4, and then balanced out that low end emphasis with number 2. And if you want to go in with 5, maybe whatever microphone you're using is really dull sounding, you can boost it a little bit, or you can just give yourself just a little bit down there, just a little pull back to help smooth out the high end. Okay. Catching back up on chat super quick. Oh my goodness. Okay. I thought I'd check you out since I'm starting on a stream. Well, awesome, AJ. Glad to have you here. I hope you're learning some stuff. This will be available in the Discord that I share with Star Freckles. She's my wonderful wife who also streams. She streams during the week. But we have a Discord. I'm going to post links to this VOD there, as well as I should be putting this up on YouTube so that people can reference that as well. I plan on streaming games or art. That's awesome. You should follow Star Freckles. She's an art streamer, and a fantastic one is that. I think, do we have any of our other art streamers on right now? I'm forgetful. I'm sorry. But dude, Streaming has been so much fun. You just gotta stream what you want to stream. Find my hobby. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Also, AJ, just as a heads up, I follow what I refer to as the Good Burger less than Jake accord when using the word dude. So I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes. Everybody gets to be called dude unless you don't want to be called dude, so I won't call you dude. But yeah, the dude covers all. And let's see here. Yeah, getting the first stream up and started is tough. It's tough. Mossy Mama, yes, that's right. She's here and does arts and craft. That's great. Okay, so that's our quick and dirty EQ right there. And I like this other one, so I'm going to get rid of the one that I just created. Boom. I do wish to remove that. But all right. That is my quick and dirty primer. Not quick and dirty. That was pretty good. That was my info for, golly, all my sibilant sounds are getting caught by that noise suppressor. But that was my sort of primer and info on how to, make yourself sound a little better in stream. Do we have any questions? That's where I call my pals dude. Right on. I'm going to cut back to this and sort of full screen myself again so y'all can see my wonderful, beautiful face, right? Oh, man. Okay. There's the Discord. Yeah. Come hang out on our Discord. It's a chill place. It's active and involved, but not like super active, and it's not like distractingly so. It's a great Discord to be a part of. A lot of cool people there. But I think that wraps up this sort of tutorial stream. Now, it's still Sunday. It's only 4:16 Eastern time, which is where I'm at. I'm not going to stop here, y'all. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep the good times rolling. And I am going to take a quick break. I'm going to stop stream so that the VOD kind of saves it as its own thing. But I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to switch over to my normal Music Sunday stream. But this week, I am going to be playing bass. Got some really great songs lined up. So I hope you stick around. I'm basically going to stop, then almost immediately restart the stream. But I won't be joining quite until a couple minutes till I get my microphone reset up and the camera moved and some other stuff. But stick around. It's going to be a fun time. You guys are so welcome. I'm so glad you joined me here for the stream. Hope to see y'all in a couple of minutes. See you soon.